Spencer Bennett, and we're very fortunate today to have one of our good friends and one of our St. Jude kids in studio. This is Mandy Bogart, and Mandy's been a St. Jude patient for almost a year now, right?
About 8 months.
About 8 months. Mandy, tell us a little bit about what was going on in your life just before you were diagnosed. What was happening?
My siblings were playing baseball, and I had lots of finals around that time for school, since it was near the end of the school year.
So you were doing a lot of studying, you had finals coming up. How were you feeling?
I was getting very tired and wasn't really hungry anymore, and I just felt weak. Couldn't really do anything.
Now, you'd gone to the doctor ahead of time, and they had diagnosed you with the flu, or what they thought was the flu?
Yes, they didn't run any kind of tests. They just looked at me and put me on some antibiotics and told me to go home.
Now, how long after that? You didn't really improve after they gave you the antibiotics?
About a week after that, we went to my dad's doctor to get blood work done.
Is that when they found the leukemia?
Yes.
And what type of leukemia did they diagnose you with?
They couldn't diagnose it right then, but when I went to Little Rock, Arkansas, the Children's Hospital, they said it was acute lymphoblastic leukemia, or ALL, type B cell.
What happens over the next few days?
We were told to go to Little Rock, so I was ambulanced there, and they did a few bone marrow biopsies, which was one of the first times I've ever been under anesthesia, or I think it was the first time.
Right.
And they did a lot of blood work and poking, and then after that, they asked me if I wanted to go to St. Jude, and I applied and I got in.
Fantastic. Now, you had a choice of hospitals, and I had talked with your dad. I know that your dad had called me. He was obviously, as any parent would be, kind of a wreck while this is going on. No one wants to hear that your child has leukemia. And he was asking me about St. Jude at that point. And I said, if you can get into St. Jude, get into St. Jude. You won't find a better hospital with great care. So you loaded up, got in an ambulance, and headed off to St. Jude. What time of the day was it?
When we got to St. Jude, it was probably 1 in the morning. Because we left from Little Rock at 9 at night, and so we got there pretty late.
What happened after that?
First, they took me up in a wheelchair to inpatient floor, and they did some x-rays because I had a pretty bad cough on top of it. And so they did that, and then they did more blood work up there and let me rest for a little bit.
So what's going through your mind while all of this is happening? You've been diagnosed with leukemia. What's the first thing that went through your mind when you heard that word?
This is crazy. It's unbelievable.
And when you got to St. Jude, did you know what to expect, or were you curious, or?
I didn't really know what to expect. I was surprised at how unhospital-like it was. I was surprised at the environment of St. Jude.
So it's not like a regular hospital. When you walk into a regular hospital, and this is what a lot of people say, is that it's, well, we all know what it's like to walk into a regular hospital. What's it like to walk into St. Jude for the first time?
It's surprising. You'll look around in the daytime and there'll be sick kids running around playing, forgetting they're sick. There'll be parents visiting, tour groups looking at St. Jude. It's just...
And there's no wheelchairs there, right?
There are.
Well, there's a few.
There's a few if you want to. And there's wagons for the kids to sit in. And
the wagons are pretty cool. I've never seen a wagon with a cup holder. Those are pretty nice.
Yeah.
Everything is kid-sized too, right?
Most of it, yes. They have different versions for everyone, for the parents and the kids.
What type of artwork do they have at St. Jude?
Actually, I think all of the artwork that's hanging up on the walls is made by the patients. And they just hang it up if you paint it and give it to them.
Very cool, very cool. So kids do the artwork at St. Jude. I suppose that some of your artwork is there then.
It is. They had a teen art show in September, and me and a friend of mine I met there worked together on a big canvas-like piece of pictures, and it kind of tells the story of our diagnosis and how we met.
Yeah. So you made some good friends while you're there.
Yes, quite a few.
Tell us a little bit about some of your closer friends. What were they diagnosed with?
There's a boy about my age, and he has the exact same thing I have. And I met a couple babies, or 2-year-olds, that have the same thing. And I have a few friends with solid tumors, a couple with skin cancer. There's lots of different things.
A lot of different things.
Yeah.
How were your parents treated while you were there? In other words, obviously they're worried about you. Did they also have to worry about, getting you checked in, having to give insurance and pay bills and things like that?
They didn't have to do that right away. They were told, when you're comfortable, you can fill out all the paperwork, but right now we're just going to deal with this right now.
So when you got there, the first thing they did was take care of you.
Yes.
And we need to say something. St. Jude will take a parent's insurance if they have it, but no parent ever receives a bill for the care that their child receives at St. Jude, which is great. They all just have to concentrate on getting their kid well, which is a big bonus of St. Jude. Can you imagine being at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital and having that load, the financial burden, lifted off your shoulders so that you can take care of your child? That's what's great about St. Jude. We'll be back in a moment with more from Mandy.